the Republicans able to push things through when they had less than 60 senators, but somehow we can't?
Well, the answer to that is they're assholes. That's a technical political science term. And Barack Obama's not an asshole.
It goes beyond incivility. It really is unacceptable in a public official, especially in an administration that talks about reaching out to the other side and lowering the temperature of politics.
Well, less than a month before Van Jones was appointed to the White House Special Advisor on Green Jobs, he said what you heard there, that Republicans were blank holes. This is his apology, said today that he called his remarks offensive and not reflective of the views of the Obama administration. Also today we found out that he was signed on to this group, the 9/11 group that believes, they're called the Truthers. They call for an immediate public attention to unanswered questions that suggest that people within the Bush administration may indeed have deliberately allowed 9/11 to happen, perhaps as a pretext for war. He was one of the signatories to that group. We're back with the panel. Charles, what about Van Jones?
Well, I'm not terribly disturbed by the expletive he used about Republicans. I've said worse about the Democrats. Hell, I've said worse about Republicans. I've said worse about cousins of mine, well, on one side of the family anyway. And I'm not even disturbed that this guy's a communist. It's not the first time we've had a communist in the U.S. government. And anyway, with the death of communism, it's a kind of a pathetic intellectual anachronism to remain a communist. However, the stuff that we learned this afternoon is devastating. Here is a man who signed on to a petition demanding several investigations of collaboration of the Bush administration with the worst massacre of Americans ever committed on American soil. Now, that is beyond extremism and radicalism. That's psychotic paranoia. It's a malignant kind of politics. And you've got to ask yourself in the White House, if you didn't know he's a truther, then you've got to ask him to politely resign. And if you did, is that acceptable in the government of the United States?
Mara, you know, here from the White House, Robert Gibbs has talked about the birthers, the people that want to see the president's birth certificate as, you know, crazy, this is insane. You know, some people on talk radio have said they should wear tinfoil hats. Here you have somebody who says 9/11, at least the Bush administration was behind it.
I think the truthers and the birthers are pretty equivalent in their...
I don't know about that.
What?
I'm not so sure.
Well, I think they're equally off the reservation.
Birth and a massacre, it's a little bit different.
Clearly, the situations are different, but I'm just saying they're equally unconnected from reality. But I do think what's interesting about this is if it had just stopped at his apology for the expletive deleted remarks, it would be one thing. But I do think that this is going to have a couple more twists and turns. This is happening right before a holiday weekend. Nobody's around. There are no briefings. But I would be surprised if this doesn't become a major topic at the White House. They're going to have to explain this, as Charles said, whether they knew about it, what they think about it.
I mean, and this is just one
really
element, Steve.
Yeah.
One element, because this guy has said a lot of things.
But it's really the only element. I mean, it really is the only element. He's clearly a whack job. I mean, he's a kook. He's in the White House. It is inconceivable to me that he has a job right now as we sit here. We posted something on the Weekly Standard website linking to that letter, which I think was discovered by a blogger named Gateway Pundit. We posted it shortly after noon, and they've had 6 hours. He's not fired yet? I mean, that's absolutely outrageous. I mean, Charles is right. The claims that this guy's making, that he would sign this kind of a letter, it is crazy that he still has a job. He won't have a job after this weekend, but they do need to explain how he got hired and why, if they missed this in the FBI background search, they missed it.
I have 10 seconds. Does he keep a job for how long?
I can't imagine. It's like hiring a Lyndon LaRouche. By Monday, he's got to be gone.
It's hard to imagine how he stays on and how they're going to explain why he would.
He should be gone. He should have been gone 6 hours ago.
That is it for the panel. But stay tuned.